Let's dive in on day 22. Wizard Simulator 20XX. Little Henry Case decides defeating bosses with swords and stuff is boring. What's this? Oh, this is just a link to day 21. Okay. He's playing a game with a wizard. Of course, he gets stuck on another boss and needs your help again. In this version, combat still proceeds with the player and the boss taking alternating turns. Oh, this is a long one. This is a long one. Oh boy. Player still goes first. Now, however, you don't get any equipment. Instead, you must choose one of your spells to cast. Okay. Since you're a wizard... Is it Harry? No, it's Henry. Okay. You don't get to wear armor, and you can't attack normally. However, since you do magic damage, your opponent's armor is ignored. So the boss effectively has 0 armor as well. As before, if armor from spell, in this case, would reduce damage below 1, it becomes 1 instead. That is, the boss attacks always deal at least 1 damage. Okay, I remember that from last time. On each of your turns, you must select one of your spells to cast. Magic, Missile, Drain, Shield, Poison, and Recharge. If you cannot afford to cast any spell, you lose. Okay. So we want to avoid that. If spells cost mana, you start with 500 mana, but have no maximum limit. You must have enough mana to cast a spell, and this cost immediately deducted when you cast it. Your spells are Magic, Missile, Drain, Shield, Poison, and Recharge. Oof. Okay, Magic Missile costs 53 and does 4 damage. Drain costs 73 and does 2 damage, and then heals you for 2 points. Okay. Shields cost 113. It starts an effect that lasts for 6 turns. While it's active, your armor is increased by 7. Okay. Can you have multiple shields cast at the same time? And each one gives you 7? Poison costs 173. It starts an effect that lasts 6 turns. At the start of each turn, while it's active, it deals boss 3 damage. Same question. Can you have multiple poisons? And Recharge costs 229. It starts an effect that lasts for 5 turns. At the start of each turn, while it's active, it gives you 101 new mana. Okay, so that's how you gain mana. And you start with 500. Effects all work the same way. Effects apply at the start of both the player's turn and the boss's turn. Oh, okay. So we have a start of turn effect that we need to carry out. Effects are created with a timer. At the start of each turn, after they apply any effect they have, their timer is decreased by 1. If this decreases the timer to 0, the effect ends. You cannot cast a spell that would start an effect which is already active. Okay, so you can only have 1 shield active at a time. You can only have 1 poison active at a time. However, effects can be started on the same turn they end. Okay. For example, suppose the player has 10 hit points and 250 mana, and the boss has 13 hit points and 8 damage. So we go through this. Player wins. Now suppose the same initial condition, except the boss has 14 hit points instead. So we went from 13 to 14, and now we have a lot more work to do. You start with 50 hit points and 500 mana points. The boss's actual stats are in your puzzle input. What is the least amount of mana you can spend and still win the fight? Do not include mana recharge effects as spending negative mana. Okay, so we're just add up the cost of all the spells that we're casting. What's the least amount of mana you can spend and still win the fight? So this is a backtracking algorithm, I guess, which I can outline really quickly. What's our puzzle input look like? Oh, that's it? Okay. Get input, 2015, 22. I'm just gonna put it here. Just for now. Oh, I didn't log in. Okay, then I'll just copy and paste this. I'll have to do that off screen at some point. Okay, so I'm just going to log it there. Am I logged in over here? I should be. Yeah, I'm logged in because it shows that, and it should have Uncle Scientist at the top, and it does. Okay, good. All right, I'll fix that problem later. Okay, so I guess we'll start off, well, we start like we always do. We'll pull up the mod. We added 22 to that. We added 22 to that. 22, 22, 22. 22. And then we try to build and it should fail. And we create this file. Yeah. AOC, right? Yes, AOC 1522. And now I can build it and it should say unsolved. Oh, if I run it. There we go. Okay. Switch back to Clippy. All right, so let's see. What we can do is we can create there. We can create a list of spells. Spells can do damage, healing, armor, poison, but that's also damage. And then recharge, which is mana. So how do we want to do this? We can create a spell struct. With the cost, the damage it does, the heal, oops, there we go, heal, armor, poison is also damage, but it has duration, and then mana restore, and then duration. And what I guess I could do is just make any instant spells just have a 0 duration, right? And then these are general purpose. So I can make a const spells. And there's 5 spells. So we say spell semi 5 equals, and then we just say spell. So this is cost 53, damage 4, and then the remaining are 0. Heal 0, armor 0, mana 0, duration 0. And that is, oops, like this. Oh, that's terrible. Okay, I was hoping to be able to have it all on one line. Because it'll be easier to type in. 73, 113. They all end in 3s here. 173. Oh no, this one ends in a 9. 229. So drain does 2 damage and 2 heal. A poison does 3 damage. Oops, this is poison. I wonder if I should put the name on there as well. And it lasts. Oh wait, no. This is shield. The shield does 0 damage, 0 heal. It does 7 armor for 6 turns. Poison does 3 damage for 6 turns. And then recharge does 101 mana for 5 turns. Did I capture everything? Instantly does 4 damage, so that's 0 as an instant. Drain instantly does 2 damage and 2 heal, and that's for 0. Shield has a 7 armor effect for 6 turns. Poison has a 3 damage effect for 6 turns. And recharge has a, oops, glad I double checked because this would have thrown all the things off. 101 mana for 5 turns. Okay, so now if we format this, it's going to get all messed up, but that's all right because it's all saved. Okay, so we have the spells. Now we just have to write a backtracking algorithm. Actually, what we want to do, let's create a game state. struct game state. And the game state will contain all of the relevant stats. Let's see. Player has hit points. So player HP, boss HP, player mana. I guess we could just say player. We can just say mana. 32, and then damage. 32. Right, we don't need to say it's player mana because only the player has mana, and we don't have to say boss damage because only the boss does damage. All right. So let's create an impl for it. Player HP. Let's just do this. Return self. No. There we go. Okay, we can do this. We do need to say self here. We do need to close that there. Okay, that looks a little better. And then we want to create a step. So let's start writing tests because this is going to be difficult. If we can do this piecemeal, oops, I read. We have test mod like that. What happened? Oh, right. So then we say test, and this will be step 1. All I want to do is check out this. There was something where it says effects apply at the start of both players' turns and bosses' turns. Oh, the game state has to say what effects are currently active and how long each one still lasts. I think what we can do is we can get away with Aveka spells, right? And then when we cast a spell, right? Effects are created with the timer. And we can just store that since we already have it. If I go down here, we can see each one of these has a duration. So we can just clone this spell into the effects list. And then each turn we just we decrement the duration by 1, right? I think that'll work. Okay. So if we do a step 1, so first we want to be able to create a game state. Let state is equal to game state new. And let's just use this test input here. We have 10. Oh, what order was it in? 10, 13 mana, and then damage 8. That's going to be a little confusing. I think that's the way I did it. Let me output. I just want to be able to see what the current state is. And if we do that, we have to make spell debug as well. Okay. And then I can just say println this state. Assert false. Okay, so if I do that, I should be able to run the test. Oops, missing effects. Oh, of course I am. Because I just added that. Effects, deck new. Right, I'm not worried about that part. But if I run the test, oh, that's right, it's going to run every single test. Isn't it? Oh, but here it is. That's good. It only prints out the output of the test we had. So player HP is 10, boss HP is 13, mana is 150. Was that 150? 250. Should be 250. Okay. Glad I checked. And then finally, damage 8. Okay. So now we have this, and there's no effects running. So if I say let next state is equal to state step, I should be able to assert that what should have happened? The boss, oh, Yeah, we have to keep track of, is it the player's turn or is it the boss's turn? Let's just do the start of turn code first, all right? So instead of step 1, let's call this can start a turn. We'll just say start turn. So at the start of the turn, what happens? These are all the effects, so nothing should change, right? Because we don't have any effects. So the next state should have the same exact state as the current state. So assert eq state.player HP next state player HP, and we can do that for all of the fields, right? Boss HP, mana, and then what was the last one? Damage. Okay. So that should, ooh, that failed. Why did that fail? Oh, because start turn doesn't exist. Okay, so now we write start turn. And then what we'll do is we'll add the ability to affect the effect. So each effect that's in the list will have will be run, and then we can just assert the various things that need to happen. This one's gonna take a while. I think I might not be able to do it in one session. We just might have to extend till tomorrow, because this is a lot of work, right? Start turn, we take a self and we output a brand new self. And I think all we need to do is this, right? Just for the test to pass, effects effect new, right? And then we just say player HP colon self dot. And then you just change all these guys to boss HP, mana, and oops, damage. Okay. We have 8 warnings. That's a little frustrating, right? Okay. Cargo test. All the tests passed. All right. I'm not worried about the warnings for this. So Bacon's a little frustrating to use for that. I don't care about warnings while I'm running tests. And this, I see. How do I page down, page up? It does say page, scroll one page up, scroll one page down. Okay, there we go. And then constant is never used spells. But see, that doesn't matter. I don't care. I just want to test the test. Okay. We'll get there. So now we want to add in each effect at a time. Right? So we want to throw in a shield effect, a poison effect, and a recharge effect. Those are the 3 possible effects with the duration. So this is can start a turn with no effects. And then we need, so can start a turn with shield. So now I'll add a shield effect. So this has to be mutable because now we have to say state dot effects dot push. We should have a cast, right? But all I'm trying to do right now is test the start of turn. So I should be able to push one of these spells. This is shield, right? 113, so 012. So spells of 02 dot clone. And then I should say let next state is equal to state start turn. And now we should be able to see that effect have taken place. So the next state, all right, so the shield adds an armor effect. So should that be part of the game state of, has armor? Right, let me say has armor false. At the start of the turn, has armor is going to be set to whether or not there's an effect there. So I want to be able to say these are all the same, but we're going to be able to say assert next state has armor. We should also say eq next state dot effects dot len is equal to 1, and then we should also be able to say assert eq next state dot effects dot of 0 dot duration is equal to spells 2 dot duration minus 1, and these tests should fail. Oop, missing has armor. Has armor false, and then we're going to fix it. We should have gotten a test failure. Oh, I forgot to put test. That's why we didn't get a test failure, because there wasn't a test for it. Failed. Right. So next state has armor is false. So let's fix that now. So what we're going to do at the start of the turn is we will look through. Oops. Has armor false. We're going to loop through all the current effects for effect in self effects. If effect dot, oh yeah, so I put the effect, the armor's effect, the amount of armor I put in here. Right, I was saying this has an armor, but I wonder if this should just be a true false thing, whether or not it's a heal or an armor or a mana. Because when we do the attack, right, so all we're doing is this one sentence here. We will do the timer in a second, but then we're going to have to, after we start the turn, then we have to decide what to do, either cast a spell or have the boss attack. And I'm just looking here. It says 0 armor, 0 armor. Here it says 7 armor. Okay. I wonder if we should also make it such that we can get all of this stuff. I can log this. In the game state, I can put a little game log. And that way we can print out the winning move or the winning play. Wonder if that would be worth it. But for now, okay, let's the only other way to do it would be just put the armor value directly in here, right? The amount of armor. Because I wonder if part 2 is going to say, okay, now there's another spell that does armor of 14 or something like that. But it's cheaper to use. So let's do this. And that means we're going to have to change all the game state stuff, right? So armor changes to 0. And then this is going to change as well. I have to change this to 7. There. Let's just do that. Armor 0. If effect at armor is greater than 0, then effect dot armor equals, oh no, armor equals effect dot armor. Right. And now I haven't played with the duration yet, so we'll fix that in a second. Then armor, like that. And we still have one error. Oh, let's fix this. Oh, this is annoying. We have this problem again. Where we get the error here, but we don't get it there. Let's fix that. Cargo clean. And now it'll take a little while to start, but it should be good. Has to build everything. Okay, so there. And that should fix that problem. We still have 16 warnings, and this is computing, because now it has to rebuild. We have 4 warnings. Okay, so now we have, can start turn with shield, search and failed left, right. So this is 147. Yeah, so our effects len is 0, but it should be 1, because we should still have a duration left. So we're going to create a new effects. Mut effects is equal to vec new. We're going to say if effect dot duration is greater than 0, then effects dot push okay, effect dot tick, and then that can actually, so our effect can now, our spell, we can create a little tick on this thing here, oops, which just decrements the duration by 1. Impulse spell fn tick spell self and then it's just self of, and all of these things are the same. So can I just say this, let mut next is equal to self.clone next.duration minus equals 1 next expected type, because I put a colon there instead of a semicolon. And then down here we just say effects. Okay, so we have 4 warnings because we're not using all the fields yet, but we're starting to use some of the fields. But the test passed. So we were able to actually have an armor effect. Okay, so now that's shield. Let's do poison and recharge. Can start a turn with poison. I guess what we can also do is multiple effects at the same time. And instead of 2, this is 3. And then we can assume these are going to all work? No, because boss HP has to go down by the poison amount. Right, it deals the boss 3 damage. Okay, so what can we grab here? Those, and then we just say boss HP minus 3, and that will be a poison effect. And then we also want to make sure that the duration still lasts. Right, and that should fail because we haven't implemented that. So let's implement the poison effect. So let boss HP is equal to self.boss HP. Oops. Let's do that, and then effect.armor is greater than 0, effect duration. Okay, so that's the final one. If the effect dot damage is greater than 0, boss HP minus equals effect. Oh, we can just subtract it, because if it's equal to 0, who cares? So no, effect dot damage. This I want to check to see if it's greater than 0, because if I only want to do it on spells that actually have armor, because the other ones don't. So I don't want to clear it by accident. And then we have the duration here. All right, so this is the damage thing. And yeah, that's I32, so that's fine. And if it goes negative, then it's fine. And so this should now hopefully work. Nope. Boss HP is assigned to but never used. Oh, yes. Thank you, Rust. This should just be like this. Right? Because once we set the new boss HP, then we just want to put it in there. Okay, and now we have 3 warnings. And then finally, recharge. Let's do that. Okay, write a test. Can start a turn with recharge. And then we can just basically copy and change all these things. So recharge is number 4. Boss HP doesn't change. The mana is going to be plus 101. And 3 changes to 4. All right, and that should fail because we're not handling recharge yet. But that's easy to handle, right? Let mana equals self mana. And then we just say mana is plus equals effect dot mana. And then change this down here. Just like that. And that passes. We didn't do heal yet. But heal is an instantaneous effect, not a... okay. Not a duration effect or a... yeah, active effect. So we should now be able to do can cast magic missile. And then we'll just have a cast. A cast. Oh, we don't want to push that as an effect. Okay, so what we're going to have is a cast function which casts a given spell, and I guess I can just say spell of 0, which is magic missile, and then I can just assert that player's HP remains the same. Boss's HP goes down by... yeah, it goes down by 4. Mana doesn't change, and damage doesn't change. There are no effects, and there's nothing to check there. So can we cast magic missile? And we shouldn't be able to because we don't have cast. I wonder if I should say cast spell, but that's fine. Fn cast self returns to self. So all we're going to do now is do 4 damage to the boss. The boss doesn't have any shield to protect him or herself. So we just say self player HP is equal to self player. Oh, we can just do this, right? No, we can't. So we can just say let next state. We can do it the same way we did before, self clone, and then next state dot boss HP minus equals 4. Next state. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Does that pass the test? It does not. Oh. Oh, okay. How do we do this? I mean, I could just do it this way, but that's kind of annoying. Player HP is self HP. And then boss HP, mana damage, armor, and effects. And then all we have to do is change these guys, right? So boss HP is equal to boss HP minus... oh. Right, what we're trying to do is cast a specific spell. So this would be minus we have to give it the spell. Spell. So player HP plus spell dot heal minus spell damage. The next thing is mana. And I don't think there are any no, we can't do it, but I'll just put it in there just to be consistent. Mana. The next one is damage, and that doesn't change. We don't change the ability to, for the boss to hit. The armor value is going to stay the same. Oops, armor. And then effects just get cloned. Or do we say vec from? Is that more obvious? Vec from. And then just return that. Will that work? Nope. Move effects. I mean, move occurs. Oh, the trait from vec spell is not implemented for vec. Okay. So can I do clone? I thought you could do a vec from a vec, but I guess not. This is saying 1 error, and this is saying 0 errors. Oh, I called spell instead of spell. 210. Okay, we're getting there. 209. This doesn't need to be mutable. Oh, because I'm not pushing a state onto it, right? We're still not doing cost, and that's actually a bug, right? But thank you, Russ, for letting me know, because now what we should be able to do is say once we cast Magic Missile, our mana should go down. So this should be actually this should be spells 0 dot damage. And then this should be minus spells 0 dot cost. And that should fail. Okay. So the mana should be spell mana minus spell cost. Look at that. It passes. That's good. I wish I could see it, but that's okay. All it's going to do is say OK. All right, so that was being able to cast Magic Missile. So now we should be able to cast Drain. Can cast Drain. And this is going to be basically this, except different. We're going to change this to 1. This to 1. This to 1. Actually, this whole thing should be spells 1 dot heal. Right? And we have a failure. What's the failure? And that's on line 222. Oh, we didn't heal in cast. But we did. It's right here. What did I mess up? Oh, I did minus. We're healing, not damaging ourselves. Okay, so now we know we can cast all of these spells. We want to actually make sure that our code doesn't break, and what we'll do is here we can only cast if we have enough. So I'm going to say if self.mana is less than spell cost, and then we're going to panic bug in move generator. Because we're going to be implementing a backtracking algorithm, we should never be able to cast a spell that we don't have enough mana for. So we'll just panic when that happens.